Well, hello and welcome to the channel. This is Portia Angel, your trusted love and relationship transformation coach. And today I am joined by my longtime bestie, image consultant, real estate guru, Barbie doll, all the things, Lauren Ashley. Welcome and thank you so much for being here with me.
Hi, that introduction made me blush a little inside.
I remember probably almost a decade ago, if not longer, we began what was introduced to us as the level up. Yes, leveling up. And it was all about how we presented ourselves. And so I really want to talk to you about your journey because there's something to be said about the way we present ourselves, what that means about ourselves, how that communicates our worth or value to other people in the world, and especially when it comes to romance and relationships. So, the first question I have for you before your transformation, if I'm able to, maybe we can insert some pictures, like a before picture or something. But looking back, and I have my notes, so if y'all see me looking over here, that's what I'm looking at. But looking back, how would you describe your relationship with yourself and your appearance before you started investing in yourself?
I would say before the level up transformation, if you would, my appearance or the relationship I had with my appearance was about covering up and
Mm.
about hiding my discomfort. Like the options in clothing that I had felt very limiting because of my body size. And so, because of that, I mainly adopted pieces that were stretchy, athletic wear, yoga pants, baseball caps, big sweatshirts, jackets that I was always pulling or adjusting to cover my midsection. And I was looking back at some pictures from my like adolescence and young adulthood. And part of that was trend, like in the 90s and early 2000s. Well, the early 2000s flipped, but being kind of tomboyish.
I
Like
remember.
wearing basketball, football, baseball jerseys, overalls, sweatpants with one leg up. I was male presenting because that was kind of the trend. I don't know. I also wore polo shirts because like the plus size revolution hadn't begun. And so I was limited. Like I wore my dad's clothing because I felt comfortable in it. And I was a bit male presenting just unconsciously.
I would have to say the same thing for me, especially as a teenager, because back in the 90s, my icons were TLC and Aaliyah. They were wearing baggy jeans and, crop tops and then also being from the city and then being around a lot of masculine women, that really influenced my overall sense of dress. So I look back at pictures during that time frame. Now I'm like, I was wearing Timberlands with cargo pants, no makeup, just looking real tomboyish and rough around the edges, so to speak. Okay, so that's a little bit of the backstory, understanding the culture of the time, because culture does play a lot into, and especially our age, our impressionable minds, like why we would have been more male presenting at a certain stage in life. The thing I want to ask you next, though, is was there a moment when you realized, I don't want to keep showing up like this anymore? And what was that for you?
I was in this loop or this pattern of just being what was comfortable and what felt natural. And the moment that I realized that there was a different way of being that involved like consideration and effort into myself was when you and I had this breakthrough conversation. I think it was just like the dawn of social media. I didn't know that my presentation was a reflection of my self-perception and that I was a walking conversation about my identity. And the world around me was reflecting back that indifference. And so, because I was blasé and indifferent towards my presentation, it communicated to the world. And that was reflected back to me. I was in a toxic, dysfunctional relationship. And the outcome that I'd been getting, I didn't know that it was informed by how I was presenting myself or how I was being. I was recently divorced. I had just referenced a toxic, dysfunctional relationship where I was justifying poor choices to be in that relationship for money. And there was something missing, like on a soul level, that I was trying to fabricate externally. I was in competition with other women. I wanted to be validated by this relationship that I was in. And it was just really unhealthy. And it was just echoing the poor sentiment and esteem that I had within myself.
I just want to park for a minute when you talked about validation, because even though on this channel and in the work that I do, and you know this, my work is about love and partnership. I never want it to be confused that the first relationship and partnership that we have is first and foremost with ourselves. And so I'm glad that you mentioned validation, because a lot of times we do find ourselves looking for someone else to validate us because we haven't validated ourselves. We are searching for someone else to give us what is our job and what we've been missing internally. And that will never be fixed on the outside. Most of the time, when we're searching for someone at a deficit, we're going to end up having that deficit mirrored back to us. Hence why you said you felt like you were competing with other women because you didn't feel the validation within, and it allowed you to go to somebody who made you work for it all the more. So, when you decided that you were ready to level up, what was really driving the decision to start making changes? Because you made some major, bold changes.
It was the possibility of being my best. Once I awakened to the reality that there's a new world that exists that I can access by becoming, myself became the focus in terms of anything that I didn't appreciate about myself, learning to appreciate it as it is, perfect, whole, complete now, and then from that appreciation, like creating a new identity. So, like, back to what you were saying about that external validation seeking, I can recall just going out into the world. I'd be at the grocery store and I'm looking to make eye contact with strangers. I'm at the airport trying to be noticed because I felt otherwise invisible. And a lot of that stemmed from a negative body image because of my weight and being overweight since childhood. And that was all informed by like trauma and things that just had to get worked out. Like the weight wasn't even where the transformation began. It was part of it, but several years into like just starting with the things that I could control now, my hair, skin, nails, face,
Mhm.
wardrobe.
Mhm.
I just started making the effort with what it was that I had. I didn't have bucks in money to go and buy. I just, what are the best things that I currently have? And then in 2019, I got braces because I was always insecure about my teeth. People would always say, you don't need braces. I didn't need braces, but there's something about orthodontics that aligns your facial structure. It just
Mhm.
brings symmetry to your face. And I would secretly like pull at the crowding on my lower teeth when I was alone because it just wasn't the way that I envisioned. So
Mhm.
before the weight loss transformation, it was just, okay, what can I do right now? And then 2 years ago, I had a vertical sleeve gastrectomy. I have no regrets about that. I underwent a hormonal overhaul, and it transformed my relationship with food and eating. So that was just a demonstration of my commitment to my overall well-being because I had other health issues that were governed by being overweight.
I just got a golden nugget because I'm thinking back on your journey and when you talked about the time in which you decided to start leveling up and utilizing what you have? Because that is a very real thing. A lot of people say, well, I can't do this. I don't have all the money to such and such and such and such and such. But there is something to be said about when you can use what you have, use what is in your possession to level up, you will find the things, the people, the resources, the money will follow in tow because that was your intention, which is magic in and of itself. When we make decisions, no, I'm going to be this person. No, I'm going to have this experience. No, I'm going to go there. I'm going to do that. I'm going to change my life. I don't exactly know how, but I'm going to start in this moment with the decision. And then I'm going to utilize whatever it is that I have in my possession to start making those changes, even if it's baby steps. Because I can say, looking back at it now, your glow up physically, it reflects, or rather, your external material world reflects what you started here and here, because the lifestyle that you're living now is not the lifestyle that you were living before you decided to level up your physical self.
That was a light bulb moment. Just in your reflecting back what I was sharing, I'm able to see it. I can see like how my internal environment has created my exterior. That's the
Mhm,
whole ball game.
mhm,
Like there is no out there. It's
mhm,
everything is in here first. Everything that we see outside of ourselves is a reflection of who we are inside. Even the parts and the things that we don't like and the people that are difficult or challenging. I'm like, it's hard to look in the mirror and say, where is this in me? Even the beauty. Where
mhm.
is this in me?
That's part of the grown woman work. I feel that when you come to that decision of transformation or deciding, I'm going to transform my life, I'm going to transform myself, you start having those seemingly hard or difficult conversations with yourself. You start taking accountability and really doing the work to look in the mirror. You mentioned several changes that you made as far as weight loss surgery and braces. Which change surprised you the most and why?
It was definitely weight loss.
Okay.
Yeah, hands down, no questions asked. And I even like I became so inspired by the results. I took it a step further. I was like, oh, this is going good, but we're not done yet. I got on a GLP-1. I don't recommend that for everybody, but I
Mhm,
was willing to do whatever it took to ascertain the vision that it was that I had in my mind safely and under like medical guidance and supervision. And even beyond that, like now that I'm in my mid 40s, I get monthly facials. I am not above a little filler here, little freeze here. Like I've
mhm,
had some stuff done and
mhm.
it's not cheap. And I love that I'm willing to do that for myself. But to answer your question, it was hands down losing 80 pounds.
Wow.
Because it's like the essence of who I am could actually radiate instead of being suppressed and hidden behind like a wall of shame. And I'm not saying I've never been ugly. I don't think that being overweight equates to being undesirable because it doesn't. It doesn't equate to being unattractive because it doesn't, but it was a matter of my own personal integrity for who it was that I saw myself as being and my health, my physical health. And the world around us judges based on appearances. And that's just a fact of life.
I'm glad that you mentioned the health piece because I know that a lot of conversations on the internet surround fat phobia and body shaming and things of that nature. One of the things that I've become aware of in my own health journey and semi weight loss journey, I wasn't trying to lose weight because I've always been a thin string being of a girl. But there were times when I was like at my heaviest. And when I was dealing with autoimmune issues, it forced me to change the way that I was eating. It forced me to care about my insides. And because of that focused attention, weight loss became a byproduct. Like, I think at my heaviest and when I got to my lowest, it was a 40-pound gap
Wow.
without trying. I was not going to the gym. I was actually insecure about being as skinny as I was. Again, same experience of weight loss, different angles. But the point that I'm making is health, I think, needs to be at the forefront of the conversation, not just vanity metrics, because when we care about how our organs are doing, how our minds are doing, because mental health is very important in this conversation as well, then the rest of us can shine. The external parts of us can shine. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. My next question is, do you think the biggest change was your appearance or was it how you started seeing yourself?
That is a really good question. I love this question because I have it that my appearance was given by the way I saw myself
Hmm.
in every point of my life. Like my appearance, even when I was wearing tomboy baseball caps, oversized clothes, and football jerseys, that was given by the way that I saw myself. And even when I put on a dress and some high heels and some hair and some makeup, it's given by the way that I see myself. So the care and the love and the attention that I poured into myself gets to be reflected back to me. That's the theme of this conversation. The common thread is there is no out there. It's
Mhm.
in here first, and then the world becomes our mirror and our echo.
You had to start from within. Because I think anytime we get in the mirror, we're always looking to create what it is that we're seeing in here. And also what we're feeling in here. It's like, oh, I want to feel this way. Let me invest in the time today to pour into myself to create that magic or that feeling or that spark within me so that I can look in the mirror and get excited. And this has nothing to do with anybody else. This is not for a man. This is not for the job. This is literally for me. And that's another part of the conversation, doing other things for other people versus doing them for ourselves. Yes, because so much of male-centered ideology is, oh, you need to make sure that you wear this and although there are strategies when it comes to the realms of attraction, living the life only being a baddie to get attention is still pick me energy. It's still looking for external validation instead of saying, no one else is in the room but me. No one else is in the mirror but me. No one else is feeling the feels but me. And if I am feeling at a deficit, I need to fix that. This has nothing to do with anybody else.
That was so good what you just said, because a lot of times in this social media era, we get on that device and we see all the girls with the bodies and the BBLs and the fillers and the hair and the lashes and the vacations, and they're the most broken. They're the most insecure. They have the look and the aesthetic, but on a soul level, empty, vacant,
Yeah.
lights on, no one's home. And that is, you can't hide from it. Like people know when, the can is empty.
Yeah, well, you don't have the goods inside. And we
Yeah.
talked about this the other day because coming up, and this was before she became the sensation that she is, but I just want to give props and shouts out to Shira, Star Goddess, otherwise known as Shira Seven, who was a mentor of sorts for us in our leveling up and transformation. She said, you can get all of this together out here, but if you haven't leveled this up, it doesn't matter because you will still get taken to the cleaners by somebody who just happens to drive a better car,
Yeah.
who just happens to have a little bit more money and thinks you look better on his arm than the girl from last week. But don't be mistaken, if you don't have the game and the knowledge and the wisdom here, you will still get the same outcome as some other girls who don't look as good, quote unquote. right?
That matters. That matters most because even though those girls look amazing, they want to be treated well. Yeah, they want to be treated. They put all of the external things on. So this reminds me of an experience that I had with a family member who is by definition a baddie. Like
Mhm.
she's so pretty and she's so sweet, but because the inner work hasn't been completed, she's having the worst relationship experiences that are unthinkable. The men that she's choosing and the experiences and the abuse that she's enduring. Before I knew what I know now, a lot of it comes with just age and wisdom and life experience. I would have killed to have her body and her face and just her spirit and just her desirability. Like when she walks into it, like she's just the it girl. But
Mhm.
then when you like peel back the layers, the inner work, there's just no escaping that. There's
Yeah,
no escape, there's no shortcut to it. And it
absolutely.
makes me grateful that I had to struggle through low self-esteem and obesity and all the character building before putting on some hair and makeup.
Once you started feeling better about yourself, how
Mhm.
did that change the way that you interacted with people? Because earlier you were saying how you were hiding. So
Mhm.
there may have been fear and intrepidation going to meet and talk with other people or a sense of insecurity. Now, what is the feeling that you have when you are going to meet with people or stepping into a room or conducting a business meeting? Are you excited? Are you confident? Tell me what that feels like when you are going out into the world in this new body. I remember you used to say to me, was it over a decade ago, I'm going to take my new body on a world tour. Do you remember that?
I
You used
do.
to say that all the time. Like, what is the feels now when you step outside your door?
I expect the best.
Mm,
Everywhere that I go, no matter what I'm doing or no matter where I go, when I bring my best self, I expect to receive the best treatment. And when I don't, I have the confidence and the wherewithal to say, no, stop. This is what I want. And I'm not cold. I'm warm and friendly and soft. And that's another thing. Sometimes beauty is powerful. And people who have a certain, like some people are just naturally beautiful. And that comes with a great deal of responsibility because they can be perceived as intimidating or off-putting or stuck up. And sometimes they are, but sometimes they're not. And so there's a sense of responsibility that I think should complement a beautiful aesthetic is a beautiful heart.
a beautiful spirit. Come on and talk about it.
Yeah, because when people see you, they have a preconceived notion about the girl in high school that humiliated them or maybe bullied them, or they have maybe a preconceived or a past trauma about the woman that their husband cheated with. So there's a lot happening when you enter the space, looking, feeling, being, bringing your best, is to walk in love as well and be kind and hospitable and charitable. And so, because I've had to work for everything that I had, nothing was given to me. Like, this is an effort, this is a labor of love, this is a deliberate investment. I did not wake up like this.
Right? Although the song says, I woke up like this, flawless. Baby, no. Let's just stop the cap.
Yeah. And some women, some people do. Some people do. I did not.
Neither
But
did
because
I.
I carry it, I also feel a sense of responsibility to carry a spirit of kindness as well. And that gets reflected back to me, preferential treatment. I remember I was shopping for a new place to live. I could sense perhaps, and maybe it was like my own internal dialogue, but perhaps the sales agent was maybe a little reluctant to invite me to see something that was outside of the price range that I had initially stated. And I kindly and politely insisted. I was like, no, I'm pretty sure I want to see this. There's a confidence that comes with presenting yourself well.
Speaking of which, this reminds me, I'm gonna go all the way back to an experience that you and I both had. And I thought it was, oh, she just doesn't want to show us the property because we're black.
We love to play that card.
Right? Do you remember when we were in Dallas and you were contacting a real estate agent so that because we were in our manifesting bag, we were just up on The Secret and Law of Attraction and Abraham Hicks and all the things. And part of, I guess, our activity was we're manifesting living in a high rise in a penthouse. And so you took it upon yourself to call this real estate agent, set up the appointment. We had no offer letter from a bank that was approving us of a loan that would qualify us to even step foot as a qualified buyer or potential buyer in the place. So we show up, and I remember what I was wearing. I don't know if you remember what you were wearing, but I was wearing an MTV t-shirt with some ripped jeans, some big glasses, some flip-flops. I don't know what my hair was doing. And I remember looking at the face of the lady, and she just looked slightly mortified, like, you are wasting my time. And although from our vantage point, we definitely felt a way about how she was treating us, I now have to look back at that experience through different lenses and realize I was wasting her time. And how did I show up presenting myself? Did I show up looking like the person who could afford $1 million condo? Was I even playing the part? No, because see, that's the other thing. A lot of times we have delusions of grandeur where we're not even emulating the energy of the lifestyle or the type of experiences that it is that we say we want to have. It's here, it's nowhere reflected here. And then the world treats us accordingly. And then we wonder why we're not getting what we say we want, why we're not being treated in the ways that we want, and why we're not seeing the people who look a certain way that are coming our way. What would someone who is dressed to the nines, what about them would be attracted to someone who is dressed the way that I was walking in that office? And this is where we have to be 1,000% honest with ourselves, especially as ladies. We want the man who has the body yada yada. We want the man who can dress like Gotti. We want the man who looks and presents and does all that. Are we emulating the same energy? Have we done the work, the inner and the outer work that we said we want a man who's emotionally intelligent? Are we? Are we mean? Are we nice? We want a man who has 6 and 7 figures in the bank, but we're living from check to check. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't want a man who makes a certain amount or at least can take care of you and make more. There's nothing wrong with what you want. I'm saying we need to be aware, self-aware of the energy that we're emitting in terms of being able to adequately and effectively call that in.
I remember that experience, and I can only imagine the football jersey and baseball cap I might have had on backwards.
Right.
Just a total mismatch, a
Mm-hmm.
total like vibrational mismatch, but
Mm-hmm.
so unaware, not
Yeah.
aware at all. We think that just because we want a thing, but are you willing to do what it takes to have that, to be that?
Yeah. Be that. That is the key thing. Ooh, you just preached the word to me because I think so much of us, we focus on the getting, we focus on the doing, and not enough of the being. Because our identity informs what we think, what we do, the decisions we make, where we go, who we choose to partner with. If we don't see ourselves in a certain light, we'll never go for the thing, we'll never go for the experience if we don't hold ourselves in possession of whatever reality it is that we say we want, it'll always feel and seem elusive. And so I think one of the biggest things, one of the easiest things that we can start to do in addition to leveling up our mind is starting with leveling up our physical sensibilities because that can bring us into a world now. Our insights determine whether we stay in that reality and in that new world. But I want to move on to another question. So, when it came to dating and relationships, did you notice a difference in the kind of attention you received from men after your transformation? And if so, what changed?
Well, the first thing that I noticed was instead of clinging for dear life to one potential suitor, the opportunity to meet and interact with multiple people, guys, became regular. And so that switched my mind from scarcity to abundance. But I want to be clear about one thing. So a woman can jump onto a dating app and start swiping left and swiping right and interacting with whomever she finds herself attracted to. And that's a good place to start, but the skill that it takes to attract is so distinct from the skill that it takes to enter and maintain a good relationship. That just
They are
occurred.
not the same. And that's a whole nother
That's
conversation.
another conversation for another day.
Mhm,
But like my mentality switched from scarcity to abundance. Like
mhm.
instead of the one leaf, that one lone tumbleweed that would blow down my avenue, and oh, this guy, and into like regularly. There was like a light that was on, and men just would pour into my space. It goes from becoming like this new, exciting experience to just the way it is.
Do you think men were responding more to how you looked or the confidence you carried after you started investing in yourself?
That's a good question. And the simple answer is yes, men respond to the way a woman looks.
Mm.
Men are visual.
And confidence maybe after that.
Yeah, because even if a woman is gorgeous, but she lacks confidence,
Mm-hmm.
he's going to respond a certain way to that too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say it is visual first. That's going to get the attention. That's going to spark up the conversation. That's going to get him to swipe right or come over and talk to you. It's just the way that you look. Like if you look a mess,
Oh yeah.
they will still come. And it's
But
not
who is
because
coming is the question.
and why.
Uh-huh.
But then it was my self-perception that guided the rest of the experience. And that had been the journey where I partnered with you on because attracting men without effort, just effortless.
Mm-hmm.
But selection and developing the relationship skill, that's a whole different ballgame. Like that's another league.
Yeah, and thank you for mentioning that. So I do also want to say Lauren has been a part of the Rewire for Love family, which is my relationship transformation program since the very beginning. And there's just been so much wonderful like unfolding that has happened ever since embarking upon that journey together. If you are interested in going through your own transformation journey within yourself and within your relationship experiences to create the partnership of love that you desire. The link for that is in the description box beneath this video. In fact, I have just launched the group version of the coaching program. I'm really excited about it. And early enrollment closes this Saturday, August 8th. So go ahead, click the link, learn more about it. And I would love to have you as part of this first group. So I want to move on to the next portion of questions. What would you say to a woman who's waiting for someone else to make her feel beautiful before she starts investing in herself?
The person that you're waiting for is you. It's all about you, and it's always been. And you are the person that you're waiting for. Once I really understood that everything that I am looking for is within me, I stopped seeking it outside of myself. I mentioned earlier going through the airport trying to make eye contact with strangers just so that I could feel seen because I felt invisible. And it's just a default way of entering the world to extract value. But when you have it, you now when I go into public, I put on sunglasses because I don't want it.
Because you get it all the time.
It becomes an extraction of value from me.
It's an interruption. I
It
took a
is
cruise with you. We went on a cruise recently, and y'all, I have to say, Lauren is the light bulb whenever, wherever we go. She's a celebrity with perfect strangers. We get on a cruise in Southern California some months ago, and everyone could not stop saying how beautiful she was, how beautiful we were. I was just like, I have never had this many people in one setting and in this amount of consecutive days say the same thing. Oh my God, it was overwhelming. So I can't imagine what it is like for you, with you, every day. It's a lot in a good way.
it is such a power. Beauty is currency.
It
And
is.
it's so powerful. And people who are born with it have a sense of responsibility for it. And people who tap into it, there is a burden to bear. I remember being mistreated once by a lady at a party that I'd never met. She was
I
mean
remember.
to me. She was so mean to me. And I was just like a happy puppy, like wide-eyed and bushy-tailed to meet somebody cool from Chicago in town for whatever reason. She was unwelcoming and unfriendly. And it was noticeable in the group. The only thing that I could perceive is because of my appearance.
Receiving that type of treatment from women. Ooh, this reminds me of Mickey Fox, Michaela
Mhm.
Pink. Shouts out to her too, because I remember her saying at one point, she said, and it's not necessarily that I'm subscribing to this statement, but she did make a point. She said, if you aren't being talked about and looked at in a certain way when you walk into a room, you're not the most leveled up woman in the room. You're not the most leveled up that you can be. At first, I was like, confused because I thought, well, I want people to like me. And so a lot of times we will shrink ourselves. We don't want to intimidate people. We don't want to put people off. So sometimes we'll downplay ourselves in the things that we say and the things that we don't say, don't wear, all of that. But I also noticed when you decide to get everybody else out the room and it becomes a conversation and an experience of me with me and how I want to feel, I have had that similar experience where I have walked into a room with another woman and her said fiance or boyfriend or husband, and her response to me being one of the look on her face was she felt threatened. I said, oh, you've told me everything that I need to know. And I want us to come back and do another conversation about this because whenever you feel intimidated by another woman's looks, that is a smoking gun. I got some work to do. If I feel intimidated or angry or mad or bitter or jealous or envious or mean like this girl was to you based on someone else's appearance, that is informing you you got some you got some shadow work, some deep-seated issues that need to be worked out, and it has nothing to do with anybody else. You don't feel on the level of beauty and love to be able to celebrate somebody else in their beauty and love. Because when you truly love yourself and you're feeling the vibes of beauty and glam and abundance, you're emanating that to other people. You're not trying to withhold it and be selfish or withhold it from someone else. So it really is about ourselves. You feel like someone is extracting something from you if they look a certain way. Every time I see a beautiful woman, I'm like, oh, she's gorgeous. It's like you can game recognize game. I'm not gonna lie. They look good. He looks good. She looks good. You should be able to celebrate and acknowledge the truth of someone. If you cannot, You got some work to do.
I would equate it to a rich man. I've been around some very rich and powerful men, and there's a certain command that they have within a space. They know it, they know their power. I went from looking to be seen to not only not looking to be seen, but it becomes an extraction of my own energy. Like
Mm.
I feel the eyes, I feel the attention, I feel the gaze of people wanting to draw me or wanting to extract from me, and it's distracting.
Yeah, and with that comes boundaries.
Boundaries, yeah.
Yeah, because so often when you go from a place of feeling invisible, as you said, not feeling seen, not feeling valued, feeling less than in your appearance, feeling like people treat you less than because of your appearance, and then all of a sudden things shift. Then it's like, oh, everybody sees me, everybody wants me. And there is that in between where it's like, I'm gonna eat it all up. I'm gonna enjoy every minute of this for every day, every month, every hour, every minute, every second, every year that no one was paying attention when everybody was sleeping on me. And the truth is, we were likely sleeping on ourselves, but I digress. Once you come out of that, in order to not get taken advantage of, in order to not have your energy extracted from you, in order to not be stretched thin, you got to have boundaries. Again, it comes with a great responsibility. People talk about pretty privilege. That can go so many different ways. But I love the responsibility aspect that you just brought up as far as having boundaries for yourself and with other people. Another question is, what's one thing every woman could do this week, not to impress a man, but to communicate to herself, I matter?
I'm gonna go straight for the aesthetic, straight for the external, just something anybody anywhere can start. I would go straight to that Mac store. I would go straight to that Ulta or Sephora and I would book an appointment or even a local makeup artist. If somebody in your family does makeup, I would sit down in a chair for 30 minutes to an hour and just glamorize yourself. I would encourage someone to just tap into the feeling of enjoying their own beauty, of having their own self as they are and as they are not accentuated. Sit in a chair and make it all about you.
It really does make a difference. Even when I have done my own makeup for myself, I remember a couple of weekends ago, I glammed myself up and I had nowhere to go. But then it was like, well, wait, I want to take advantage of the way that I'm looking and how I'm feeling. I am presenting my best self. Do you know how much stuff I got done in my business? Do you know how many video submissions I submitted that day for one thing or another? Like I just went in because that is what investing in our presentation can do for us. And it just creates a sense of magic. If I'm trying to tap into my higher self, what does she look like? What does she feel like? Where is she going? What is she eating today? Really embodying the identity of the woman, the higher or the best versions of ourselves. There's a flow state that comes operating in that mindset just for a day. That's going to be my challenge to anybody watching. It creates the most magical day. I swear it does. So I love that you mentioned the aesthetics and also the intention up here because it's about leveling up mentalities here, about being your greatest version. Who is she? So get into that. I 1,000% appreciate you, Lauren, for being here and sharing your experiences and journey with us. Do you have any final words?
This was so much fun. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me into your space. I will never skip an opportunity to share the difference that your program has made in my life personally. I am in a relationship with a man who utterly, fully, completely, and absolutely adores me
Mm.
as I am when I wake up in the morning with no hair and no makeup.
Mhm.
as my body is when I'm
Mhm.
feeling my best and when I'm not. Someone who is devoted and committed to me, our relationship, and our future. The reflection of the way that I intentionally pour in myself, he pours that out. He is the utmost gentleman. I don't touch a door, I don't touch a chair. He will kneel down to buckle my sandal.
Well, come on now.
I don't touch no trash. I don't clean no toilets. Like he is a man and I am his little lady.
Oh,
And I had to go get in the trenches of how the identity got put together, break that down and create something new. And in this program, it works if you work it.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that, Lauren. For all the other women who are out there wondering how do they quantum leap from point A to point Z? How do they transform their lives? How do they level themselves up emotionally, mentally, physically, relationship wise, financially? Because that is another conversation we need to have. How a lot of times our money can mimic our struggle bus love experiences. Sometimes, sometimes. But anyway, for if you have loved or liked at least this conversation that we have had, please give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't done so already so that you don't miss out on future relationship coaching content. And let me know in the comments what stood out to you the most in this video. And if you would love to hear more from Lauren, whether you say it or not, she's probably going to be coming back because it's my channel and I do what I want. But anyway, until the next one, take care, be blessed, and bye for now.